Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, hey traders, this is John Howell here. Today we're going to be looking at the gold, silver. Man, last week really took a lot of people by surprise when it comes to these markets. And I want to explain the reasons why certain things have happened. Excuse me. Why certain things have happened in the markets and why gold and silver reacted the way that they did react to this here. But what it means for gold and silver and the mining stocks long term, and what am I personally doing? Because I have a lot of money in the mining stocks, gold, silver, and so on and so forth. So that's what I want to be talking about in today's video, guys. But before I do, guys, I just want to let you know that I've just created this PDF called the top 13 biggest mistakes that most people make. If you are losing money in the markets, then I want you to download this for free. If you go to johns13.com, JOHNS 13, you'll be able to get this PDF here. You can see the mistake. In this PDF here, I've created it so not only do you learn the mistake that you're doing, but you know how to overcome it as well too. What to do to overcome it. Now I can see you got 3, 4, 5. It's a big PDF. Even got diagrams and charts and all this down home country goodness. Again, guys, if you go to johns13.com, you can actually download this here for free. Especially right now, if you're confused, you're struggling. Not only will I give you this, but I'll also give you access to a free course. And in that free course, the very first video, I actually got like a 40-minute video walking through step by step of this PDF here. So go to johns13.com, guys, or there should be a link in the description, and you can get instant access, instant download to that. You're gonna absolutely love it, guys. If you're struggling with trading right now, you're gonna absolutely love that PDF, and also the video that goes along with it, to share my stories as well too, and how that came about. So let's actually get into gold and silver right now and what's happening now. Firstly, guys, let's actually start off with why the market reacted the way the market did last week. All right, so there was two different situations, two different scenarios that the Fed could have come out yesterday or last week. The first scenario, the Fed could have come out and said, you know what, that they don't even really acknowledge the inflation. They go, yeah, it's there, but we're still on course and everything's good to go. They could have said that, right? But now what the market's doing, the market is reacting to what the Fed did say, which basically was saying, you know what, we're actually raising interest rates is coming a lot sooner than later. It was 2023, now it's 2022. I personally think, that they're going to be raising rates a lot sooner than they believe, because I don't believe the inflation that's happened right now is transitory. And I truly believe that we're likely to see some really nice moves when it comes to the inflationary. So this little short-term pullback we're getting in the markets, in the metals and mining markets, guys, I believe it's likely to be short-lived because inflation is not going to be transitory. We may get a flattening out period because a lot of the commodity prices right now are actually selling off. If you have a look at here, this is actually a lot of the commodity prices that you're seeing. You're seeing up the top here, this is corn. You can see corn really hasn't been doing much for the last for last week. Soybeans, soybeans actually has had a this just fell off the cliff. When it comes to, you can see, if I just open up my chart here, you can see what's happened here with soybeans. But it's fallen off a cliff from where? It started at like 13, and it went to 20, 25. So a nice pullback, and that's probably going to continue that there. Wheat is another one. Wheat really hasn't made that much of a move. It's just really not doing much. I'm actually personally in wheat myself. I like that commodity. So actually I am in wheat. And then you got sugar cane as well too. So this is actually the sugar. Sugar really hasn't been doing much. So you can see how what's happening right now with a lot of the commodity prices. We're actually flattening out when it comes to a lot of these commodity prices. And stuff like that. So soybeans getting hit a bit harder, but the thing is we're getting hit pretty hard from a low of where we are, from where it actually came into. So we are getting a bit of a flattening out when it comes to the commodity prices. I had a brain freeze just then. When it comes to the commodity prices, right? So we're getting flattening out. But what I do see is that, as I was reverting back to what happened before, is that because the government came out and said, you know what, oh my goodness, this is actually taking us by surprise. It's actually happening a lot more than I expected. We're probably going to have to raise rates a lot sooner than we expected, which is not to another 12 months anyway. You know, and we may have to start tapering as well too. You know, stop putting money into the system and so on and so forth. Because I think they're doing like 120 billion right now per month in purchases. So and so that's the reason why gold and silver freaked out, right? Gold and silver absolutely freaked out because they're like, oh my goodness, they're gonna start to raise interest rates. So that's the reason why the market on a short-term basis is having a little bit of a freak out. So that's what I said. That's the reason why the market is doing what it's doing right now. But that's what the market is doing based on what the Fed's saying. Yeah. But I truly believe, guys, one, inflation is not transitory. We may get a flattening out of inflation. But guys, this is the start of an inflationary period. We're not going to just start this, right? Current events form future trends. We just spent 10 years with no inflation. And now we've got a little bit of inflation. You think, oh, well, it's just going to go away? Nah. Right? Inflation's here to stay. Inflation is here to stay. Not only is inflation here to stay, but this decade is going to be one of the greatest booms we've ever seen when it comes to the mining sector. So if you're looking at the big picture, if a lot of you guys are in the mining sector like I am, and you're looking at this, to me, we're going to be experiencing one of the greatest booms in history. Now, some of you guys that are so impatient, you're like, oh, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? You know, it actually really is already starting to happen. It's just taking a lot longer than most people would like. We did already have a very big move up through here, and now we've actually just been doing this through here. So I truly believe, once again, guys, that we're going to see one of the greatest booms in history when it comes to that. But right now, yes, we are falling off a cliff when it comes to this, when it comes to the GDX. But there's a few things here, guys, that there's a few things that I'm saying that I really like, and I do see that we're likely to get some sort of a turning point soon, and this short-term sell-off is probably likely to be bought into real soon. We may get a little bit more of a sell-off period through here, but I truly believe, guys, we're going to see some buying coming back into the markets. Again, it may not be today. We may get a bit more follow-through like this. But there's a few, look at this here. There's one gap up here that's probably going to be closed. And look at this gap here, that gap there. The GDX hardly ever has any big gaps into it. And when we do get some gaps like here, they generally get filled. So that gap there, guys, this sort of short-term sell-off here, I see it being closed. Same for here as well too. Again, we may get some more downside to come. Let me go to the weekly chart. This is the long-term weekly chart. So we may even get a bit more downside to come, coming to these major support levels. But once again, we're getting into a very overbought territory right now, and I do see the buyers are likely to come back in and start to say, you know, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? You know, and so we still have two gaps. We still have this very first gap up here, and then we have these very big gap. Those gaps will be filled, and so I see them coming in. Silver miners as well too, same sort of thing. We've got a bit of a gap. And the SIL a bit of a gap as well too. But guys, even with, like, yes, we did fall off a cliff, but when you're looking at the silver miners as an example, we really, if I zoom out, like, we really are just still stuck in this overall sideways range. Nothing has changed really. It's actually just had a nice pullback and a nice jump down. But that's actually a positive thing on this SIL chart. And the reason why it's a positive thing is because we had a move up. We've had this major high. If we can come down, if we can create a high low through here and then start to go up, this is going to be this is what I call a springboard. When the market does this and it goes out, it's just it's getting ready to have a springboard. So this may be, which I believe it's going to be, a little head fake or a little fakey to the downside. Head fake. It sounds like a pop to the upside, but no. We're going to, and so therefore, guys, I truly believe we're going to create like a bit of a springboard, and then we start to see it move up. And then when we break out of this massive sort of triangle pattern that we've been in now, or channel, then we're likely to start to see some really big action here. So moving over now through to gold as well too. Gold has continued, or gold was one that actually sold off a lot harder than I was expecting. But I'm not, again, guys, I'm not really worried about it long term. I see very, very absolute long term. You can see what gold's doing here long term. We had a move up and then we had a strong move down here on this weekly chart. So I'm not too worried about it when it comes to gold. Again, guys, my position in gold, especially right now, has always been by 2025, we're probably going to see a 3,000 plus print. That's my that's always been my view with gold. And we're getting a little bit of shake and bake right now. And silver right now has definitely started to have, we've got a little bit of a close below this trend line here, which may start to see some more downside movement. Let's actually bring this up through to here. But you can see overall, if I just take that trend line off the screen here for a minute, you can see overall, guys, that we're still really just in this triangle pattern that it's building. So I wouldn't be too surprised, guys, if the buy started to come out really strong moving forward this week, and for it to start to see some big moves. So we may get a little bit for the first few days, guys. Man, I can't talk this morning. It's that's what I get for doing a recording at 5 o'clock in the morning. Man, for the short term, we may still get a bit more of a shake and bake, all right? But overall, I still see this thing continuing to have a very nice move to the upside, especially in silver. Silver's actually, even though we got a bit of a sell-off in silver's actually been holding much stronger than gold. Gold had a rally like silver did back here, but then what gold did, gold actually started to sell off through here, and then we ran up, and that's what gold's been doing now. But you can see silver's actually been really strong here. So guys, I wouldn't be too worried about what's happening with gold right now. Again, if you are in silver and gold, then this short-term movement shouldn't bother you at all. Because I do believe that this is just creating some sort of a springboard for a lot higher prices. I hope this helps you out today, guys. If you are struggling with the trading right now, then once again, go to johns13.com. Grab this PDF here that I got here with the top 13 biggest mistakes. This one here, right? Actually, mistake number 2, not being patient with setups and how to overcome it. This should be the big one that most of you guys should read right now, because you definitely need the impatience. Oh, you definitely need the patience. Anyway, guys, go to johns13.com. There should be a link in the description there, and I'll speak to you real soon.